friends, it's been a while. Sorry about that. So there's a set of these shades of gray tubes sold on Jerry's Artarama, and they are extremely cheap. And when I say extremely cheap, I think one of these bottles was like $1.25, which is very weird for oil paint. Um, they don't really have a lot of information on these bottles, and they come in individual bottles, but they also come in a set. And I bought the set ages ago when I was still learning things about paint, so it does have some mild use on it. I do like the art on the labels, very nice. But they come in a bunch of different shades of gray. Like this one's gray, gray medium, cold gray, orange gray. I have no idea where the rest of my bottles are, but I figured we'd have a little mini review so I can show you if these really, really cheap paints are any good. And the window's open. You might hear some New York City noises. So yeah, we are just going to mix these guys with a good old titanium white. Because if you mix it with the same brands, you kind of have the same results every single time. Because they have the same pigment consistency, they have the same oil levels. But if we mix it with another brand, which oil paint, you're supposed to be able to mix it with other oil paints generally. So we can see how much of a pigment load it has. And I remember using it very lightly as kind of a tint. Like it wasn't really that strong according to my memory, but I haven't used it in a while. So, yes, we're going to have a little mini review in these grays. The orange gray is probably going to give us the best results because it has a color in it. And these two do not. I don't know. Maybe the cold gray has a purple. I do not know. And yeah, the sun is being very mean today. So we got, we'll do the gray mid first. Yay! I use them a lot. Okay, gonna put that aside. Woo! Like, it's not super oily. It has a really nice kind of flow to it, which is weird for a brand this cheap. Because that's not bad for a really cheap brand of oil paint. Because that's pretty smooth. It's not very oily. It doesn't feel as cheap as a lot of other brands. That was too much, but that's okay. It kind of came out in a little boop. Maybe I won't mix that much into it. That's actually very strong. I expected this thing to have a very low tinting strength. But yeah, that works pretty well. I am legitimately surprised right now. I thought this was going to be a very big disaster. Like, it's just not going to have any tinting strength. I can speak words. Any tinting strength at all. But no, that's pretty standard. That's pretty good for garbage noises. Okay, now we got this one. Anyway, actually close up first, because that's, with the sun doing things, that's pretty strong for a cheap couple of dollars of oil paint. Maybe you don't want to get the Williamsburg shades of gray thing, even though I like Williamsburg. I like that has a little bit of purple. I like that. Cold gray has a little bit of purple in it. Hey, that's not bad at all. Yeah. Now we got a little bit of white. Old Holland is like the most pigmented of a lot of brands. It is the most expensive of a lot of brands. So I should hope it's the most pigmented. But so if anything, the white should be completely overwhelming, and it's not, because the price range difference. Okay, the white's a little overwhelming on that one. Maybe I put too much white, but that's a... Oop, there we go. Because that's not bad, really. May I reiterate how cheap the shades of gray are on Jerry's Artarama site? So, now we got some orange gray. Maybe I should find the rest of these bottles. I wasn't expecting this to be a good video. That's kind of a burnt, kind of a raw umber maybe. Not really an orange, but like, well, what is the raw umbers and raw siennas? Just not orange grays, I guess. Yeah, that's exactly what it says on the tin. Okay. Little bit of what? Yeah, that'll be fine. Voices outside. Okay, the white is a little bit overwhelming on some of these. Maybe the first one just kind of fooled me. Yeah, there's a little bit less pigment in the ones with colors on them than anticipated. But to be honest, for how cheap these are, this gets an A+ for me, quite honestly. These are not bad. The whole set will range in price on Jerry's Artarama because every so often it'll just have sales. The cheapest I've ever seen it was before the worldwide issue that's been going on. That was like $9. I think that's when I bought it. Now it's like 15 on average, which again, for a set of really cheap gray oil paints, and maybe you don't want to get the Williamsburg set because of the price, maybe it's your thing. Maybe it'll do the trick. Yeah, this was a really short video. So let's see if maybe I can mix something with something else. Because these do have the same pigment ratio, so just curious about one itty bitty thing. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, it's driving me nuts. Ah. Garbage noises. Got some orange down here. And we've got some gray medium over here. It got a little bit of schmutz in it because I haven't used these in a while, but that's okay. These are cheap files, I can get more. And if you mix them together, you get exactly what you think you'd get. You'd get mud. Yes, because they're both grays and they're both, yeah. If you use them together, maybe you could just like have an entire gray palette going on. Because the pigment ratio is the same on all the bottles, because that's how that works. Yeah, so, actually, I thought this was going to be a complete disaster, and it isn't, so I'm genuinely surprised. So, yes, A+. This might be a good replacement for Williamsburg Shades of Gray, even though it has the Munsell value, and this is just a bunch of grays with pigment, with a, yeah. Or you can just buy them individually, because they have that too. So, yes, okay. Thank you. See you guys later. Goodbye.